This is the HomeTech Podcast for Friday, August 2nd from Sarasota, Florida. I'm Seth Johnson.
From Reynoldsburg, Ohio, I'm TJ Huddleston.
And from Pickering, Ontario, I'm Gavin Campbell.
And welcome to the HomeTech Podcast all about home automation, home technology. I don't know. I've had a weird week. What did you guys?
Super weird.
Outages.
All sorts of fun stuff going on. Had weird Ring tech support from end users today, all day. For some reason, Ring is funneling their customers to ours, which is great. I don't know how that's happening. I don't want it.
I'm going to start funneling my customer support calls to you too. What's the URL?
I don't know. It's really strange. I did follow up with a lady, and she said she had basically searched for the Ring website for support and ended up talking to our guys somehow. Don't really know how. She doesn't really know how, but she said when she logged in with Ring, it bumped her over to our website, which is great and everything, but not particularly, we don't need that many customers. So
yeah, wouldn't that be annoying if it was just like an influx of a lot of people just calling?
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. All it's been. So I'm not really sure. Like it's she's nicer. She said your support was super responsive. And I appreciate their message. That let me know that
much better than Amazon.
So, like, evidently she had a great experience with support, but we're clueless. And I reached out to my contacts at Ring; they're kind of clueless too. Nobody knows what's going on. So, yeah, very strange.
That is super weird.
You don't want to hire volume of support, especially for a company as big as Ring or Amazon to hit your support guys. It started pretty early this morning too. It was like UK people like complaining about their like bill, or they wanted to sign up for a subscription, or they wanted to change their add to accounts. It's like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. Like, what is going on here?
Did you figure out what happened? Like,
no, we still don't know what's going on. Like, it's still happening. It's not what happened. It's still happening. So it's very strange.
Wow.
Yeah. I would love for us to figure out what's going on.
Well, this is a perfect time to push routerhats.com, Seth. We can get everybody to buy router hats.
Yeah, I think you just need a router hat is what you need. Yeah.
Turn those calls into sales.
Yeah, we should probably buy that domain one of these days.
I mean, because obviously they're not AV integrators. They're not going to be able to buy anything from Blackwire, but we could still turn them.
Oh, wait. Did I buy that domain? I did. All right. So, yeah, we're going to have to do something with it.
What, router hats?
Yeah.
Man, it's so bad that you forget what domains you buy.
Sorry.
You have a problem, Seth. How many domains do you have now? Does it tell you?
Is there a list of them?
I mean, I have a list. So where do you buy them at? I only have one domain registrar.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a list somewhere.
Man, you probably have like 12 domain registrars.
Wow. Wow, that's nice.
Are you just buying domains from random websites every time? You're just like, whatever, I don't care.
Well, I mean, it seems kind of a fun thing to do. You never know, and routerhats.com is going to come in handy, TJ.
Well, no, that makes sense. The buying the domains is fine, but don't you just buy them through like one central place?
Oh, yeah. I usually use Hover, or Amazon has a...
So you should be able to see how many you have there, though. Give us an idea. How many are we talking? Are we talking like a dozen?
I could if I wanted to.
Talking like 100?
Your wife doesn't listen to the show. Like,
how much do you spend on domains per year?
You could pay multiple years in advance too for a discount.
Well, that's true.
When you first buy them, you get them cheap, right? And then it's after that to renew them that they get you.
Well, especially if it's like one of the top level domain ones.
Right. I've noticed that the prices on the .coms have slowly crept up from like, $12 up to like whatever, 16. So there's only 20 here, TJ. Come on.
That's it?
Yeah.
No, you have to click next on the page. That's page 1.
It could, no. It's not paginated. It's only 20 domains. These are all useful.
That's not bad. I feel like you have more, but you just have them on different accounts or somewhere else.
I haven't pruned them. So there's rack studs here.
Oh yeah, rack
studs. The PPBDB. There we go.
Mm-hmm.
You collect domain names like I collect filament for my 3D printer, The
only problem is the only thing is you'll actually use your filament.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I plan, there's big TJ's cock squeezers. We're going to have to do something with that. That I feel is just a gold mine just sitting there in my domain.
Okay, funny story. I actually 3D printed one of those
a TJ cock squeezer?
A couple weeks ago. Well, I don't call it the TJ cock squeezer.
I don't know why you wouldn't.
Well, you should. I own the patent on it, or the copyright.
But, for my toothpaste, it's a nice little thing. You just twist it and the toothpaste comes on top and you get every last bit of toothpaste. So I spent $3 to, save that 3 cents of toothpaste that you never get at the end of the tube.
Yeah, it's a great idea, honestly.
Yep.
I totally didn't believe you about the TJsCocksqueezers.com, but I just went there and it's totally legit. There's even like a picture of my crotch in the foreground. So it's true to form.
Wait.
You can see the cock squeezer there as well. So, I mean, I think it's a really good photo for everything.
Is that? Yeah, I'm glad it's like blurred out. I hope that's not. I didn't really notice that. But whoops.
All right. Well, that's definitely my leg, but the idea is still there.
Okay. All right.
I was on a baseball field at a school, so I wasn't trying to become a person on a list.
That's a fancy cock squeezer too. Look at that thing.
Yeah.
And you have to scroll down.
I think that one is by like HomeTech or Smart Home or something like that. One of those random Amazon companies,
This is a family show, boys. Family show.
Yeah, it was. It was until we were looking at. Never mind.
I don't remember ever saying it was a family show.
Well, at least the curse words do get bleeped out from time to time, so that's good.
Whenever AI gets them.
Had a bunch of news actually pop up this week. It's kind of surprising, but so yeah, we've got a number of HomeTech headlines, some updates for Home Assistant we're going to talk about later. So what do you guys say we get started?
Let's do it.
All right. So sorry. Sonos CEO Patrick Spence has publicly apologized for the issues plaguing the Sonos mobile app following its May 7th update. The famous version 80.0 intended to offer more personalized experience and a redesigned interface, but it sucked and everybody hated it. So
how do you feel about this, DJ?
Boo, hiss.
He has like this letter. I've seen a picture of it. I think it was posted like on Instagram, and maybe it was an email or something. I'm not sure, but it basically goes on to say that we pushed out a bunch of updates. We've done bi-weekly software updates and released a bunch of these features that were pretty big that were already existing maybe in the other app, and they just took out and forgot to put back in.
Oops!
But they've been working on it. And we're sorry. So it went from you're holding it wrong to we're sorry. We were holding it wrong. We fixed it. We're still working on it. So
basically what they said is that this software was not ready yet, and we've taken all this time to update it and make it ready. And it's still not going to be ready for another like 3, 4, maybe 5 months. So we could have just waited until like Christmas to do this or something, but we did it a little early for you, so
they had to tie it in with the headphones. They had to. That's why this existed, right?
Yeah. You obviously needed the headphone support, even though the headphones don't really support everything anyway. So good thing that we rushed out with this product.
At the end of the show, when I'm going through my projects, I have some comments about their app. I found some other stuff that we're missing, and I'm like, man, their documentation's out of date.
Wow, I'm surprised they have documentation.
It's honestly pretty good. They've had some pretty good, usually in the past they have. July, August, they're going to improve stability when adding new products. That's always helpful. And implement music library configuration for browse, search, and play. August, September timeframe, we're going to be improving volume responsiveness. And then the user interface improvements based on customer feedback. So if you complain now, maybe look at those in August, September timeframe. And then they're going to be working on overall system stability and error handling. That's good. September, improving the alarm consistency and reliability. September, October, restoring the edit mode for playlists in the queue and improving functionality in settings. And so there you go. That's the roadmap. I'm glad they're being a little more open about it too. It's nice to see what's coming up, and they don't have to be so secretive about fixing their broken app. But here we go.
This company is a dumpster fire. I don't get it.
They got headphones now, DJ. Headphones.
I just don't understand it, right? I mean, and especially like ever since the transition to the new CEO, this guy has seen like 3 what I would consider major disasters. The whole S1, S2 debacle, which is kind of whatever. The recycling program, which is kind of whatever as well.
That was a Reddit problem.
But I think all of them were legit, but none of them really mattered though until this like third thing happened. And then it's like, all right, well, you've done all 3 of these things, so you kind of just suck at this point. I'm still holding on to my theory. I'm a big simulation believer here, but I feel like Patrick Spence was sent by Amazon or Google to destroy Sonos from within. They're like, well, it's going to be cheaper than doing this lawsuit long term, so what if we just destroy it?
They're doing a good job.
Yeah.
He was around before. I mean, he was a long time. I think he was the CFO, financial officer? Yeah, he was the CFO at Sonos.
It's a long concept.
I guess so. It's a long game you have to look at.
Amazon's got deep pockets.
We're talking about patents here. You got to take your time. You got to do this right.
I'm starting to see some parallels with Logitech in this, though, happening at the same time. Like people are starting to look for alternatives to Sonos, whether it's things like Vessel or Weem, the same way people are looking for alternatives to Harmony remotes, right?
What do you mean, like, Logitech, looking for Logitech? The company, there's another story here. We're talking about it. Like, the Logitech Circle Door, like, they don't even know they're making these things anymore. The CEO was like, yeah, I guess we have those still. I think they're almost spent. Like, we don't have any stock, but like, they're still on their website. Yeah. Wendy, another communications person came out and said that they had, like, oh yeah, we still got stock. Please buy them.
We're not out yet.
It's not good when the CEO of the company, like, completely glosses over or forgets that they have an entire HomeKit secure video lineup with their, Circle View door and doorbell camera. Like, that's crazy. That's absolutely crazy.
Yeah, I was listening to this, and I posted in the Slack group because it was Nilay Patel interviewing the new CEO of Logitech, and they're like talking. I think he mentioned something about like three major categories or whatever, or four major categories, and one of them included the smart home. And she was like, "Well, really, just three." And she was like, "Well, the smart home's not really a thing.
Nobody wants that.
We're gonna get out of that." And I was like, "Whoa, wait a minute! I haven't heard anything about this. What are you talking about?" Because I haven't heard any mention of Logitech getting out of the smart home. It would make sense. They don't really do anything in there, right? They have like a video doorbell, and they've done like the Logitech Pop. I couldn't tell you anything else they've done.
Well, the Pop was discontinued, right? That's not around anymore.
Yeah, that was like a cool button thing. I had it. I don't know why I had it, but I had it. So yeah, I mean, it makes sense that they would get out of it, but it was just very confusing because I was like, I've never heard of this before.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I think she just said the quiet part out loud. Like, you probably don't want to say that, we're getting out of it when they still have people working in those positions, selling and making the product. But yeah, it's probably not if you're working at Logitech right now on one of these products, you're probably not feeling very good. Yeah, I'm not even sure those are being sold.
So I think those are pretty much gone in the interview. Talking about the smart home.
Yeah, I mean, she is new. I guess she would need to go back and double check. They went back and double checked, said, no, we still got some in stock.
Please buy them, please.
We'll ship them out. So,
and then 6 months from now, they're going to be like, well, actually, you remember those doorbells? We are not selling those anymore.
Yeah, well, I do know they are correct. Like, their money was not in these particular products, and I don't blame them if they want to get out. But people do like the HomeKit video doorbell or the Circle cameras too, because it integrates right with HomeKit. And you can use it to upload all the video like directly off the camera or whatever. So that's kind of nice. But yeah, it's kind of weird. Really strange. I've got a graveyard tag hovering on this right now. So
well, makes sense. I can join Harmony.
For Harmony. So we'll cover the whole graveyard section right here up at the top. Speaking of graveyard products, Amazon is discontinuing the Echo Dot with clock. You don't remember this one? It's got like a little, I don't know, like a pixelated clock on the front of it. And not the one that Gavin has, right? This is the older one. It's kind of like got a cloth on top of it, and has like an LED dot matrix display inside. We'll link over to a story here on The Verge where someone's very upset about it. The Echo Dot with clock was priced at $80, and they liked it quite a bit. It had a decent little, I guess it had a decent response time, and it worked really well for them. So I don't know. It seems like some people didn't have such a good time with it, had freezing and unresponsiveness. So could be fixed through multiple resets, just like the CloudStrike Windows machines. So yeah, maybe it was good that they discontinued that and went over with the new one.
The new one works great.
The Echo Spot.
Yeah, the Echo Spot. I have it sitting here still in front of me. I like it. It's a good replacement.
Amazon makes so many of these. I looked at this and I was like, no, they can't be discontinuing this. I just bought this a couple years ago, and I did buy this, but without the clock. It's literally the same design and everything.
It just doesn't have the clock inside. That's funny.
Just no clock.
Oh man. Well, I guess we can still talk about Amazon here. Kind of keep Amazon in the fray. But Amazon seems to be horrified. The headline of this article: Amazon horrified by what people actually use Alexa for. Goes on to say, Amazon initially launched Alexa in 2014 with the vision of it becoming a major revenue driver by encouraging users to buy more products from its marketplace. However, consumers primarily use Alexa for simple tasks like checking the time or setting alarms, which has led to significant financial losses for the company. From 2017 to 2021, Amazon lost over $25 billion on its smart home devices, including Echo, Kindles, Fire Stick TVs, and Ring doorbells. Despite these losses, Amazon has continued to expand the devices team, once swelled to over 15,000 employees. Dear Lord. The company used an accounting philosophy called downstream impact to justify these expenses. Concept championed by Jeff Bezos that assigns value based on subsequent customer spending. But I guess that spending has not come in, and $25 billion. Holy moly. $25 billion. That is something.
Like, didn't they see something was wrong at $10 billion? Like, how did they let it get that far? You know what? If you made a really good clock and people are willing to buy, or a timer, and people are willing to pay that much for it, then you're doing something right. Jack up the price, let people buy these expensive timers and be happy. In my household, yeah, we use the timer a lot. We also ask it a lot for what the current time is. We ask the weather, we ask traffic, and every now and then we control something with it, right? So,
right.
It gets a lot of use, and I have 9 of them around the house, or something like that. Nice timers. They keep great time, so I'm happy with it. If they charged a bit more, I'd probably still have 9 of them around the house, for timers, so if you're going to make a timer, make a really good timer. And that's what they did. Just charge more for it.
Good job, guys.
Yeah. Great job. You've created a great timer. Let's take it to the next level. Multi-timers, stuff like that. Like let's up your timer game.
I think they had multi-timers, right?
I'm pretty sure they do.
Yeah.
But they need to advertise it a bit more, They got to put in by the way, do you know you could set multiple timers at once?
That would be helpful.
Yeah, that would be a helpful, by the way, right there,
I think they've had that for a couple of years, and we're probably one of the first, if not the first, to introduce that particular feature. I will say I did notice that Siri has gotten it now, and you can ask it to set up when you say create a timer, you give it a name.
Yeah.
If you remember, and it'll make a Siri timer with a name on it and associate the time. So when you're in the kitchen, you can say create a potatoes timer, create a chicken timer, all that kind of stuff. And it will keep those timers separate, which is kind of nice.
And what's even nice, like on the spot here with this little screen, when I set the timer, it shows it on the screen too.
There you go.
Right. So it's a really good timer. I like it.
They could have just stopped there.
Yeah.
Not lost the $25 billion.
They should advertise it as, a fancy clock and timer with some smart home capabilities.
I remember when this thing came out, and it was advertised as a timer and a thing that you get dad jokes off of. And I don't, do you guys remember the first ad for that thing? I remember watching it and thinking, oh, this is kind of cool. I'd get this. And the smart home was not even on there. It's ask it the weather, set a timer, and ask a dumb dad joke. And it'll tell you a dumb dad joke. The smart home came later. I don't know, when the smart home kind of got big when Apple pushed out HomeKit, and I think everybody was like, oh, we got to do a smart home thing. And I don't know if they just, I feel like they just wedged it on there. They're like, oh yeah, the voice thing, it'll do that. And they're like, here, use this app that's kind of like a web page, but not really. A web page would probably be better. I don't know. They never really, to me, 15,000 people were working on this. Are you kidding me? I think they would have had a better app.
Most of those people are sitting there listening to your audio recordings and typing a response into it. They hear you ask for the timer, and they sit there and they go, okay, I'll set it. I'll have to remind this person in 15 minutes.
15,000. Oh man. I mean, I get that it's a bigger company. You have to translations. You have to support all these different, they did a pretty good job of supporting dialects and that kind of thing. They really upped their game on how they voice process things. But man, that is a lot of people to support that. That's Amazon. So, they've got Amazon money.
All that money. I still don't have a web interface to add devices. They took it away.
That was upsetting because it was the only way to delete all my devices. I don't even know if it's still there anymore. I know they took it away, but it was the only way I can go in and kind of delete every device and restart.
Yeah, see, and that's why I haven't set up my voice control again. I'm back to using Google, but Google doesn't allow it either. So it's just I have not set it back up.
Why?
It'd be so much easier. I got a lot of devices, guys.
And they make it for people that have 3 devices, you're good to go.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, That's one way to lose money. It's actually a couple of good ways to lose money tonight. First, by registering lots of domains. Second, by forgetting that you have an entire video lineup and home automation lineup that exists in your product line. And third, by
It happens.
Yeah, and third by egregiously spending money on a product that people use for a kitchen timer. $25 billion. Oh my God. That is crazy. Anyway, I love the subtitle of this headline or of this article here from the Byte too. It says, Alexa, please make money. Or come on.
That makes sense why they're trying to go with AI. That way they can teach you how to make money.
Yeah, Alexa, make money. Show title tonight too. All right, let's get on to some fun stuff here. We've got a new product rumor, I guess. It'll probably be something we see at the Google event. I think it's coming up on the 13th, if I'm correct, 13th of August. So in a couple weeks, we'll have the big Google event, and evidently they're coming out with a new Google TV set-top box. Yay! Right? We all want this, right? It's a 4K Chromecast TV thing. It's got a remote. No more dongle. It's an actual set-top box.
It's a weirdly shaped set-top box, though. It's like a cylinder-looking thing.
It looks like one of those chargers for your phone.
Right, like a wireless charger, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like tilted, so if you put your phone on it, it would fall off.
Yeah, it's tilted to accommodate the HDMI and power cable, I guess, that are going to the back of it, but...
It's pretty weird. They don't want you to set anything on top of it.
Yeah, or be able to stack anything.
Good thing I have Legos. Yeah, I always like the Chromecast devices. I don't like the white remotes because that always ends up awful. But I always like the Chromecast devices themselves. I've used them in the past. Google TV's pretty decent. I just like my Apple TV at this point. It's easier to use. So I think Google TV has gotten closest to like the one interface though, where they actually show you different things from different streaming services. So it's kind of more of like a cable box replacement, but I don't think they've like really nailed that just yet.
I can't say that I've used the Google. Oh, okay. So yeah, it's basically like one of those. It's like an aggregator from all the services that you have on there. Apple TV does this to some extent too.
Yeah, but you have to go to like a separate section for it.
Yeah, it's confusing.
Whereas like Google TV just makes it part of the dashboard.
I mean, they could just call it dashboard, but no, they call it Apple TV inside the Apple TV. And I think it's a tab inside Apple TV, the app Apple TV.
Yeah, I've never opened that app.
Called Apple TV. Yeah, it's very confusing how they have it set up. They tried to make it a little bit better with this side menu that pops out now, but I don't know. It's weird. They've got a lot of good shows on Apple TV, but I'm talking about Apple TV, the service, not Apple TV.
Yeah, confusing. And Apple TV, is one of the nicer services right now because they don't have all these advertisements, but I also read that they may be getting advertisements soon, so they're going to ruin it slowly.
Wow.
Yeah, they'll come out with a advertisement sponsorship thing that they can pop in on those things. Because they probably have the demographics to charge a premium for them too. So they're just sitting there staring at all that money that's not coming in through services, and they're like, we can get that too. So the enshittification of Apple TV will begin. As if it's not bad enough already.
Did you see this new Nest thermostat as well? I forgot to post it actually.
Yeah, it was like a rumor. I think all this is going to come out of that Google event on the 13th.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did see there was a new Nest thermostat. Was a 4th generation, I think, now at this point.
Yeah, it looks pretty nice. It looks very fake from the photos, but you need to see this thing in real life.
Well, we'll probably see it on some big screen at the Google event next, but not anytime soon. Oh yeah, it's got like floats off the wall. That's kind of cool.
Yeah,
it's a look.
Looks pretty nice. They pull it off.
All right. Well, Google keeps updating their stuff too. So they're bringing Nest Hello, which is the doorbell, support to the Home app. So if you're using Google Home, Google is expanding the Google Home app to include Nest Hello video doorbell and the garage door detection features. A user can now migrate the Nest doorbell, wired 1st gen, from the Nest app over to the Google Home app, allowing it to be integrated and manage and watch all the video playback and everything through one location. So this is great. Everything's kind of getting moved over slowly but surely. I feel like we've been covering the Nest to Google Home migration story for like years now.
Yeah, just make it happen.
You just can't pull the Band-Aid off. It's just like one of those like slow burns.
You kill products all the time. How hard is it to kill this?
Oh my gosh, they're killing the Google short links thing. Did you hear about this?
No.
They had like a like the Bitly thing where you can like shorten a link. Well, Google had like one of those, and they deprecated it years ago or whatever. They said we're not going to, but they're now, instead of like paying for the $5 server a month server that they have that runs the whole operation, like all those Google links that existed in the past, they're just going to go away. So like,
wow.
Yeah. So if you ever made one of those, you better go out and replace it on whatever web page you have it on, because it's going away.
Jeez.
Good deal, Google.
Come on, Google.
They do not care. If it's not making advertisement money, they don't want it. And ADT is updating some fun stuff. This sounds like something Gavin would do for his trusted neighbor. Maybe not. He's like, nope.
All right, I'm waiting on the story. Let's go.
ADT is launched.
Interested?
Would you have a trusted neighbor? ADT has launched a new smart security system, the ADT Plus, featuring new hardware and integration with Google Nest cameras, smart speakers, and the Yale Assure Lock. This is introduced the Trusted Neighbor feature, which allows smart locks to use the facial recognition to open up the door for trusted individuals. Sounds pretty good. Like if you have a neighbor, say, come on over. The door will be unlocked. When they get up to the door, the video doorbell will recognize who they are. Unlock the door. There you go.
How is this? Why don't you just program a code and give it to your neighbor?
No.
Like the whole point of the Yale Assure Lock is it has codes, and you can, like I do, program a code and give it to the neighbor and say, come on over. You know the code. You can get in the house. But no, we're going to, instead of have a code, you're going to have a facial recognition and a hub and the lock and everything else. It sounds like overkill. Just put a code in for the neighbor.
This is the guy that has geolocation set up for his locks. So you think this is overkill?
Well, that's for me. But I mean, for this problem here is like, just put a code in for your neighbor. I don't want to have to enter the code when I come home, so I have my locks unlocked for me as I come into the house, right? That's easy for me, but what my neighbor, I don't want my locks unlocking whenever they come home too, because you can't get that near on your geolocation, but just give them a code. I'm not going to buy a camera and a hub so I can
and pay for alarm service for $45 a month.
Yeah, so they could just walk up and walk in my. No, I'm just going to give them a code and save that money. Even though I have all that stuff already, I'm still just going to give them a code.
You could do this with Blue Iris. It would just take 20,000 steps.
Yeah, it would have to start analyzing them from the bottom of your driveway, but still, just give them a code. All the new locks that are smart locks, you could give them a code. You could program their fingerprint. You can give them home.
Give me your finger real quick. Let me program my lock.
What? Yeah, whatever you want. But I would just put a code in and say,
wait, so hold on. The fingerprint's more reasonable. The fingerprint's more reasonable to you than the facial ID?
Well, because I don't need another camera for the fingerprint. It's built into the lock. All right. So you could have one lock and you can give them multiple ways. You give them, what's that, home key thing? You could give them the home key. This is assuming
you're going in with ADT though. So
yeah, I guess if you're going in with ADT, but
because ADT uses Google for their cameras now.
Yeah. But just program a code. It's so much easier, faster, reliable.
Just give them a code.
Just give them a code.
You can give them a key too. I mean, that was
slow.
Just give them a key. Yeah. My locks don't have the key, but I'm putting a key lock in the front door, so I'll have a smart lock with the key in the front door. But I just give them a code. And their code, they have to give me their SIN number, so that will be their code. So
your SIN number?
That's security. Oh, what's the equivalent to you guys? In
Social Security number?
Social Security.
Yeah. I'll make the code their social security. Give me their
wow.
social security number.
We actually have 3 codes. It's your social security number, your bank routing number, and then your bank account number.
Listen, right now I have all their accounts right now. I manage their IT for them. They're lucky. I'm really
well, and you're not really the ideal.
private.
You're not really the ideal person for this anyway, though, because you're tracking everything your neighbors do, and you can probably automatically unlock it whenever they're coming over.
You know what though? When my neighbor, no, I don't track everything they do, but when something happens, they come to me and they're like, "Oh, did you get that on your camera?" It's like my cameras don't record your yard.
Bathroom. Oh yeah,
right. And they're like, "Why not? Why not? Why not? I need, now I wanted to see what happened on my yard." It's like, get your own camera.
Well, actually, John, the camera did pick up something right about the time you turned off your shower. So I think somebody did see something coming.
I did have a few clips of him falling on ice on my driveway, so those are good videos.
Well, you got to keep those for
You know.
insurance.
Yeah,
you know?
I sent it to him, but he was trespassing. That's my argument.
That's right.
Yeah.
Nobody likes a John trespassing.
I thought TJ, you were going to say you're not the ideal customer for this because you're not an ADT subscriber. Like this is like entry level smart homes written all over it. Gavin's definitely not at that level, but like it is something like if you are just want kind of a basic smart home managed by others, managed by maybe ADT or something like that, you could do something like this. And it seems like a cool feature, but I'm kind of with Gavin. It seems a bit much to do the facial recognition thing for the trusted neighbor thing, and just give them a code.
Yeah, because you have to program their face anyway, right? Like,
and you just stare at this camera a bit. I think Google's made that easy.
You probably just upload their photo, I'd imagine.
Yeah, or if they've been over to the house a couple times, you probably already got it on there, right?
And then they're wondering why you're taking random photos of them. It's like, I need your mugshot,
It's for my security system. You wouldn't know.
No, you know what? Just
you wouldn't understand.
Let me scan your face real fast. Hold on. It's interesting new feature. But yeah,
I like it. I'm not gonna do it, but I like it.
It's cool. It's a cool feature. No, I'm not saying it's not cool. I just think it's overkill.
No,
Just
it's all right,
give 'em a
Gavin.
call.
We know you don't like it.
No, I like it.
I think it'd be cool for logging, not necessarily automating things off of it, or like. What if you wanted the untrusted neighbor feature, right? And if
That's what I was thinking, right?
Yeah.
if DJ comes over, then the doors just lock and the lights turn off.
That would be better. If it
All the
detected
blinds closed.
Yeah,
The sprinkler turns on.
ADT, if you're listening, please make the untrusted neighbor feature.
Yeah, that would be better,
And then the landscape audio speakers, they just start yelling, creep alert, creep alert.
You see,
Get out of
you
here, I'm
see?
calling the cops.
911.
I see you, Neil.
Too good.
No, I was using my cameras to try and pick up dogs crapping on my lawn, like I was trying to feed it to the Chat GPT. Anytime it detected a dog on my lawn, it would send it to Chat GPT to tell me what the dog is doing. And then it would say, and then if, in my automation, I could say, if dog pooping, trigger camera. Right?
If dog pooping.
It got a little expensive, but, that way I can look at the video footage. And if I see that dog walker was not picking up the poop, I'd have them on camera.
There was a guy that made one of these. It's on YouTube, I'm pretty sure. Caleb Olson. I'll send you a link to it. He made a poop detector filter or poop detector for his camera.
Yep.
He says he's got AI built into it. I think we talked about this before.
You can feed it to Chat GPT. I played with that a while back. It's not the fastest thing, but it's pretty cool because Chat GPT could analyze the photo and say, yep, the dog is stooping. The unfortunate part, I didn't think it could recognize the difference between a female dog pooping and peeing. They kind of do it the same way, where a male dog will lift his leg or hunch his back, right?
Well, there you go.
I know this is a tech show, but
yeah, let's
a tech show where we talked about dogs.
It was poop detection, so
poop detection. It
there you
fits.
go.
yeah,
with
that's
the
fine.
thing.
That's technology.
Yep.
Well, hopefully we see an ADT untrusted neighbor feature because I think that would be potentially more profitable for the company. But we'll see. We'll see what they come up with. But all the links and topics we discussed tonight can be found over in our show notes for HomeTech.fm/492. All right. Well, speaking of dogs, these dog robots are everywhere, right? And we got an interesting pick of the week here. 2 picks of the week. It's 2 dog robots, right? The first I thought was, well, it's an egregious waste of money for some law enforcement agency to have a little fun with their toy, but they've made the Department of Homeland Security has acquired a dog-like robot named Neo and goes around disabling Internet of Things devices in homes, and it's aimed at preventing booby traps during law enforcement raids. So this little dog will hop on over to the house, and I guess it's equipped with some kind of antenna array, and it creates a denial of service attack, overloads the home network, and disables the smart devices. How much did this thing cost? Probably a few $1,000,000 to develop, but that's what we do with money.
It's everybody's money, so
What's it matter?
it's
Who
not
cares?
as bad.
I love how that has this little dog trooping through water and stuff. It's got these little antennas on it. I don't know. This seems like the militarization of robots. I'm not generally for that because when they take over, these are going to be the leaders, right?
Yeah, and they're going to take down my Z-Wave and Zigbee network. I want my stuff to work, robot. Don't take it down.
It's not good. Not good.
That's rude. I've been nice to y'all.
It's too good. Well, yeah. And then we've got another one here. And this one's got, if you've seen these robots, the little robot dogs, they're kind of weird looking. They have the little backwards legs like birds. And then I guess these people thought, hey, it would be a good idea if we hooked a vacuum cleaner to its back and let it carry a vacuum cleaner around. And then we'll just run hoses down its legs and zip tie them on there. And then we'll call it a vacuum robot dog. And this is called, does it have a name? No, it's developed by a company called Vero. It's a quadruped robot designed to clean up cigarette butts and other small litter in challenging terrains like beaches. So this little guy walks around with his little vacuum legs and sucks up little small cigarette butts or glass pieces and that kind of thing. And in tests, it successfully picked up 90% of the cigarette butts identified with its AI vision. So there you go. Dogs, or robot dogs, I guess, are the pick of the week this week.
These are great. Like, honestly, they're great. They're solving problems. That's what I like about them. Like the beaches, nobody wants to see the cigarette butts and garbage on the beach. Mm-mm. But you could send these things out at night and they go and clean up the beach and suck up everything, right?
Yeah.
They'll suck up the cigarette butts, the glasses, the baby turtles, everything. It's great. It solves a great problem.
Yeah, honestly, it's a good idea. I'm glad we're making robots to solve our mistakes. This is what I think humanity is all about. We destroy things, and robots come and clean it up a little bit for us. Have you guys seen the little robot things that clean up the ocean? They basically set them at the end of a river or somewhere else, and it just sucks up all the trash.
Yeah, I've seen multiple things like that, like little boats that go around and they suck it up and stuff like that. Yeah, those are great ideas. I've seen some that are powered by solar power, so it could just keep going.
Yep.
Well, I think we should invest more in that stuff.
Oh, there's a bunch of these little robot things that go around and clean up. Actually, this is what you're talking about. And actually what everyone's...
Yeah, the ocean cleanup.
Yeah, it's ocean cleanup. It's...
I've watched some YouTube videos on it. It's great.
It's actually linked in the references of their white paper that they made, but it's called 4Ocean. And they've got these robots. They've got 3 of them here. One of them is looks like what you're talking about, TJ, floats in the water. Remote controlled autonomous electrical aquatic drone picks up floating debris like water bottles and that kind of things. Surface oils from waterways. And then they've got a 4Ocean Collector, which THOR, the god. And this one sits on a dock or on the shore and just kind of sits there and picks up stuff as it comes by. And then they got a little one that's like a little tank, like a little robot lawnmower guy. And it's got a little basket in the back, and it just runs around and picks stuff up there. So, I don't know. These little robots are... I mean, we could just not throw the stuff in the river or...
Well, that would be simple.
Just not do that. But, we can make these robots to do this stuff. Yeah.
Why do that when we have robots do it?
It's got a little rake attachment. Look at this little guy.
But yeah, these are brilliant ideas I wish we invested more in.
Yeah, this should be where a lot of our money goes to. Fix our mistakes.
Fix all these horrible...
Because then, once we start getting into space more, we got to fix the mistakes up there that we've already started.
We're going to make robots to clean up the space junk,
Yeah,
they just float around in space and catch things as they go by.
That's right.
How much do these robots cost? Oh, they're not... Oh.
At least $5.
They're not terrible. I mean, if you go over to AliExpress, you can get one.
They're not terrible.
You can order them on AliExpress.
Actually, I think I'm gonna order one of these.
Oh my gosh.
It's only $468.
That's it?
Yeah.
To clean up your beach?
No. I mean, I could strap a vacuum cleaner to this thing. It looks big enough. I probably will.
Oh my gosh, this guy can't even finish a project. He thinks he's going to strap a vacuum to a robot?
It's not hard to do. Come on, I've got a...
Nobody said it was hard to do.
I've got an extra Dyson laying around here.
It's all about time, Seth.
There's always room on the to-do list. I
mean, what would you do with a robot dog? This looks amazing. $468 plus $2,000 delivery. Okay, that's how they get you. It's still $2,500. Okay, stop there. Newegg actually has one for $705, so maybe I'll start there. It looks a little more unfriendly. Let's just say it's unfriendly looking. But most of these, they range. I guess they range from $2,500 on Amazon for the one I was looking at, all the way up to $13,000 for another one. So, and how much can you buy the Boston Dynamics one. What's the military? It looks like they're using that one. $75,000. So yeah, probably not going to be buying one of these anytime soon. It'll be fun though.
Come on, get one or two.
I know. What if, Gavin, what if we put our two ideas together here though? What if we had a little robot dog that went around and picked up all the dog manure or tracked it and then like went over and then like stared down the dog while it was like, or, you know, like if you had a neighbor's dog coming in, it would run out there and chase them away or something. This could work. This could be something we could do.
We do have neighborhood poop picker uppers. So you can pay somebody in our neighborhood and they go around to houses and they'll pick up your poop for you so you never have to deal with it. And they come like at whatever schedule you want. It's a brilliant idea. I mean, for those lazy enough to not clean up their dog poop, but
that's me.
Sounds like a shitty job.
But
I'm just going to let that one slide.
Yeah, well, if we can replace that person with a robot dog that goes around and picks up manure, then there you go.
Our jobs are all going to the robots.
It's all being replaced. I used to pick up poop for a living. The robot took my job.
Well, I foresee one time, in the future, my home will have one robot that will go out and pick up all the crap off my lawn. And then the second one will go out and mow the lawn, and then I'll have another robot to go seed the lawn. It's like, I wouldn't have to do anything.
Really want with your robot dogs, though. How much? I mean, we've got to be able to get one of these at like a not $75,000 price. There's got to be something I can find. I'm going to check out AliExpress later. All right. Well, now that the robots have all taken their jobs, if you have any feedback, questions, comments, picks of the weeks, or great ideas for a show, give us a shout. Email address is feedback@HomeTech.fm, or you can visit HomeTech.fm/feedback and fill out the online form. All right. We've got some Home Assistant project updates. I probably haven't updated Home Assistant in a while. I probably should check that out, but they have...
What?
Yeah, I know it sounds unbelievable, right? Like I haven't updated Home Assistant. I haven't even logged into it in a while. I wonder if it's still running. But anyway, they've been working on their UI, Gavin. It looks actually this is kind of the new UI that they showed off a little while ago. I skimmed through the video because I couldn't watch all of it, but they talked about a bunch of stuff and it looks like they're working on like elements. Like this is the card element. This is kind of little things that sit on your dashboard and are kind of like the basic, what would you say, UI building blocks of Home Assistant. So they're going to start there and revamp all of those and make them all look good. So it looks like they're working hard on it.
Oh, well, no, we've known they've been putting a lot of effort and work into their dashboards. Yeah. They said that, I think, from earlier this year. They're focusing a lot. And just by looking at job postings and stuff, we know they are. This is just another evolution of it. The part I like is that they are calling for the community now to start, helping to start migrating some of the more popular cards over from Hacks into Home Assistant, right? So that's the nice part because they're taking Hacks a lot more serious. I think they're working closely with Hacks now and looking to probably at some time in the future, they might just integrate it right in, right? But
that'd be nice because it's kind of a confusing thing as a new user of like you had to tell me, oh, you got to go get this extra thing and add it on, and it's kind of like
it's one of their most popular add-ons though.
Yeah, when I go to it, I'm like, where is this settings for this thing? Like I can't even find where the settings are sometimes. I'm like, it's very strange.
But it's just, over time they found out how popular it was. They can't support everything in Hacks. Hacks lets people publish, their own add-ons and stuff too, right? So they'll probably keep it around, but they've come up with a bunch of standards when it comes to tiles and features and stuff like that. That's what they needed. And standards such as the icon sizes and the spacings around the icons and how all that type of stuff, even down to the settings. And now with that, they want people to, the developers to start, looking at migrating some of the popular tiles and stuff into Home Assistant and convert them to all these standards. To give it the unified design and look. And I really like where they're going with this. They're putting a lot of effort into it. And that's, what I like to see. It's not, as you can see, they move at a really fast pace. As much as people complain they want it now, at least we know it's coming. They just
they're
need time.
flying. Yeah, they're moving.
Yeah, they're moving as fast as they can, but they still need time, right? Like they got still a lot of cards they got to convert from YAML. I know people hate YAML. I'm a YAML fan, but there's a lot you could do with the YAML, and they still got to convert some of that to the UIs, but it's good to see. I really like what I see.
I don't hate YAML as much as I hate Material UI, and they pretty much, the foundation of this UI is Material design, and I'm not a fan of it. I know it's really, what is nice about Material is like Google put a ton of energy and effort into making sure that like things scale up and down between UI, so like you get a lot of that for free. I'm not a fan of the design, but it does look good and consistent if you have all your cards and everything using that. I think they'll make it look great.
Well, it's definitely better than what came before it as well. So
I think it's still Material UI based, like it's just an older version. So I think they said they were moving to Material 3, which looks better. It doesn't have all the same weird things that previous versions of Material had, so can't complain too much, I guess. But it all kind of when I see this design, I'm like, okay, well, it comes from that. It's only so much you can do,
but it's looking better. They've come a long way
for sure,
and they know they have a lot to do still, but they're working towards it.
Yeah, because they're probably, there's some technical debt there that they have to overcome from standards and conventions that were popular when they first made the UI to what exists now. So yeah,
and they may piss off a few people in the process because they may have to break some things. That's Home Assistant though. Home Assistant breaks things all the time. I updated my Home Assistant before the show and I just realized my Amazon A Lady is not working now. So it's a part of having Home Assistant.
Well, mine, I guess you guys will be happy to see I'm only one number off. It seems I have gone from 2024 6.4 to 2024 7.4.
Whoa.
So not too far off here.
That's because we keep you updating.
I actually can't believe I updated last month. I must have done it at some point, but I don't remember doing it.
And you don't even realize there's a reboot in there. That's why you do click update.
Well, we'll get into it in projects, but I've been playing around with the server lately. So, but you guys have been a lot more busy, especially TJ. TJ, you've been probably the busiest out of all of us doing your electrician things.
Yeah, I'm playing Sparky right now. I'm upgrading the electrical in the house. So today I just finished off the rest of the kitchen. So I separated I installed new 20 amp wiring for the kitchen. So that is all good to go. Everything has grounds now, which is kind of essential in 2024. Got the living room outlets all finished, got the lights done for a lot of rooms. So basically now it's just like the office and the bedroom for outlets. And then the electrical upgrade portion is kind of done. And then we can put money towards upgrading like the electrical panel and stuff like that. Luckily, like the electrical side isn't that difficult. I know how to fish wires through walls and ceilings and stuff like that. So like running the physical wires is super easy. And like once you connect to the panel, that part's relatively easy too. So it's been pretty fun, honestly, and it hasn't really cost me that much. I've rewired a good portion of the house for like $400, and I would that's pretty much including the wire and the outlets and everything like that.
Nice.
I'm even fancy, guys. I do screwless plates.
Ooh.
So I just walk in my house and I got those nice Decora plates and the screwless plates. I even have screwless blank plates for the areas where I don't need a light
switch.
Stop it.
Stop it.
Oh yeah. So it's been pretty fun though, honestly, just getting it all done. And Nicole has the hard job. She has to go in and fix all the holes behind me. So good luck to her, I guess.
It's a learning experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, my wife won't let me fix the holes that I make either. I did one of them. She's like,
yeah, I'm awful.
She was very disappointed in my work. She's like, I can't believe you did that. And I'm like, it's done though.
Yeah, I just don't have the patience to do a good job. It's one of those things that's like literally watching paint dry.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah,
waiting for the drywall to dry, and then you sand it, and you put more on, then you sand it, and it's just like, ugh.
Yeah, it's an art because I always seem to like, you skim it with a little coat of mud and everything, and you clean it up, and then you sand it, and it just seems like every time I think I need, like, I should be done, but every time I always do that one swipe too many, and then there's a line in the middle of it.
Yep.
And then I gotta go smooth it all out again, and I do that one swipe too many, and I get fed up, and I just leave that line there. The paint will cover it up. The paint does not cover up your mistakes. I've learned that.
No, it does not.
It does not.
No, it highlights it, honestly.
Yeah.
It makes it even worse. It's like, oh, wow, that does look terrible.
It's like shadows.
Because there were certain parts of, like, when we did our bedroom closet, like, I was like, we did the drywall and everything like that, and I was like, well, this area is not the best, but I don't think it'll be that big a deal. And then we threw paint on it. I'm like, man, that looks like shit.
Yeah. My walls at night
why did we not fix this?
My walls at night look great, but during the day, oh man, I see everything.
Just don't go in the bedroom during the day.
The sunlight, yeah.
Yeah.
No, and then when I was running the new electrical cable, I had to. So ironically, I've cut into my wall several times in the same location to run network cable and everything else.
I bet she's really pissed off about having to replace that same hole over and over again.
Well, luckily she didn't patch it that time, so it's fine. So I had to cut into the wall again, but I accidentally nicked my Cat 6 cable. And so for the time being, I just put a keystone and RJ45 on it, and I put it in the wall. I knew I was going to replace it at some point, but I was like, it's good enough, and whoever gets the house for me is not going to care about this wire anyway. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to run this new Romex wire. I got to run it over to the living room anyway. I might as well go ahead and just run Cat 6A for no real reason. And it's really just because my client bought me a roll of Cat 6A. He was very, very insistent that he needed Cat 6A. And I was like, all right, if you do. And so I literally have like 800 feet just sitting here doing nothing. And so now I have Cat 6A in my living room. I'm not going to buy a switch that's going to utilize it. I don't even have anything that's going to utilize it, but it's there.
And that's what matters.
That's right.
You could say there's Cat 6A in that wall, honey.
That's right. Nobody's ever going to know or care, but
no keystones. Yeah.
I know it.
You're future-proofed.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's all the projects I got going on right now. I'm still waiting on my new Innovelli switches to come in. I don't know if those are ever going to come in, but
I pre-ordered some too, but they're not shipping till September, end of September, I'm told. So
did you order the Presence ones?
Yeah, the millimeter wave, Z-Wave ones.
You did Z-Wave.
Yeah, you see, the only thing I'm kind of upset at Innovelli about is I liked how they had the two different switches, the one with the long bar, which was the dimmer switch, and the one with the little light, which was the switch, right? I liked how they had that because you kind of knew what you were getting into when you hit the switch, if it was a dimmable switch or, just a switch. But now they have a single one and they all have the light bar, and I'm not a fan of that because is it dimmable? Is it not dimmable? I wish they kept it too, but I'm still a big fan of theirs. I pre-ordered their Z-Wave millimeter wave ones, mainly for a couple rooms. I don't know if I'll ever get them, but I pre-ordered them.
Yeah, well, I'm excited to get them. So hopefully those come in at some point so I can move some other switches around.
You go, Sparky.
Very nice. I'm impressed by the screwless blank plates. If I noticed that, if I came over to your house and noticed that, I'd be like,
oh man, it's beautiful, Seth.
This guy's so posh.
And what's hilarious though is that like the screwless blank plate is way more than like just the regular one. And I'm like, why is it so much more?
It's more plastic.
It's just screws.
Yeah, it's more plastic, I guess, but it's just like,
more plastic.
Here, let me see if I. Oh, here you go, Seth. I got a picture for you. And what's hilarious, I have a Philips Hue motion detector mounted to it.
Yeah. What?
Huh?
Well, because it's just for my pantry.
Like it seems like you've wasted the blankness of it.
Well,
I see them. They're exactly what you expect them to be. But man,
but it was better than buying like a motion switch to work there. So
$10 a piece. Jesus.
That's why I think I paid like $5.
Oh man.
Yeah. And
you ruined it by putting a little. Is that just stuck on there with like some? That's not.
Hell no! I screwed it right through there.
Oh man, that's too good. We'll have to put that as our show art where we're talking about this.
I think it's crooked too. Don't tell anybody.
Yeah, well, Photoshop it or something. Maybe, probably not.
But yeah, that was the easiest way or the cheapest way to get motion activated lights in the pantry. So that cost me $40, and that was it.
Nice.
All right, Gavin, what do you got going on?
Not much this week. So I've been fighting with Sonos. My Sonos setup, I know everyone's unhappy with them right now, but
I just pile on. Everybody, everybody will agree.
So I'm just gonna jump on this too. But yeah, my Sonos, I was getting a lot of buffering or certain speakers not having issues and stuff like that. And ever since I installed Sonos in my house, I remember when I first installed it, I had it on Wi-Fi only. And then I was having issues. So I switched everything to Sonos Net, and that solved those issues for that time, right? Well, it just finally came around and started bugging me. So now I was having, again, just connectivity issues with my Sonos. So I went through and I decided, okay, well, the newer ones don't have Sonos Net anymore. So let me just turn off the Sonos Net and get it back to regular Wi-Fi. So they're all on Wi-Fi now, and I have a good enough Wi-Fi I can handle it all. So I did all that, and it works so much better now. So, if, people out there, you have a bunch of Sonos speakers and you're using Sonos Net and you have problems, switch it back over to Wi-Fi. It just meant unplugging any Ethernet cords, really. I think that's what all you had to do was, if they're plugged into Ethernet, you had to unplug them all and then make sure you had Wi-Fi turned on, and they would all just use Wi-Fi. The part that, got me mad was, how do you tell if it's using Sonos Net or if it's using Wi-Fi now? And every document I was looking at said, oh, go in the app, go here, and it will tell you if it's WM0.
Oh, that's the old app, the good app. Go to the good app.
So that's coming January next year.
Yeah. That's another feature they took out of the app that, especially for you installers, maybe that might drive you nuts. But the only way I could tell after that was to load the app on Windows. And then in the Windows app, I can still go into the menu and see how they were connecting to the network. So,
interesting.
Yeah.
Did you not go to the secret Sonos Matrix website?
I know. I went to Robert's website. I believe it was on his website.
Port 1400 on there.
Yeah, but I don't think it tells you how it's connected. I couldn't remember. I was just looking for the simple, am I using Wi-Fi or am I using, whatever. And in the Windows app, it's pretty laid out. I mean, you had to Google what WM0 meant and stuff like that, but it then told me everybody was on Wi-Fi. And at that point, I AirPlayed to all my Sonos speakers all at once, and bam, everything was just working great again.
Yeah.
So for those of you with Sonos, maybe time to give up on Sonos Net if you're using it and it's giving you problems.
Mine was giving me some problems the other day. I wasn't sure what was causing them. But then I was also having a lot of Wi-Fi issues.
Yeah.
And I went into my access points, which never give me Wi-Fi issues. And I realized at some point, and I don't know when I did this, and I don't know how it happened, but I must have turned off the 5G radio on the Wi-Fi 6 connections.
Yeah.
So it was really weird. Like everything was trying to not do what it was supposed to do. And like as soon as I flipped that back on, everything kind of calmed down and worked. But I'm not really, I make it like I have one of those Sonos, I guess, is it the Boost or something? It's like a little thing you plug in to give it some range for Sonos Net. And that's the only thing that's plugged in hardwired. But I wonder if I don't just like unplug that and go straight to Wi-Fi and see how the system reacts that way.
It's worth a try because the Boost would be the central point then, right? It would go through the Boost and then out to all the speakers. So unless that's centrally managed, centrally located, I think.
No, well, that's one thing I noticed is it's not at a great location, but I did notice it had some like bad connection. Like you go to that Matrix thing in the Port 1400 or whatever it is, and it would be like, yeah, you're not doing great here with your connection to I don't know, it's like the living room S3 or something like that, Play 3 or whatever it is. I did notice that I was having some connection issues with it, but I've never done the hey, just throw all those Sonos on Wi-Fi. So maybe I'll give it a shot. Maybe I'll just throw it on like the 2.5 network and call it a day. See what happens.
Yeah, give it a shot. Because I also noticed on my
can't get any worse.
Yeah, exactly. On my unified network, I also have a dedicated 2.4 network advertised because there's certain devices that just do not work with the shared 2.4 networks. Mm-hmm. So I have a dedicated 2.4 network, and I noticed I was having issues, and when I looked at it, at some point it enabled the 5G on that network too. So I don't know if there was a Unify update or something like that.
Yeah, that's Unify. They love doing that. They love turning things on and off on you. So
yeah,
you
so
gotta watch it.
Once I realized that and I turned back off the 5, everything that was on that network started working properly again. So thanks, Unify.
Yeah, they love doing that on their updates, just randomly turning on things they think you need or turning off things or hiding a...
That's annoying, especially when I don't know the updates. You know, I don't really know when it updates, you know, so.
Yeah, though I turned on the auto updates now pretty much by default, I think, when you install it. So, yeah, Unify. What are you going to do?
Yeah, love-hate relationship with them.
Exactly. You gonna find something more expensive? No.
No.
You gonna buy something better?
Gonna
No.
go to TP Link Omada? No.
Yeah, not gonna happen.
Yeah, and then next up, I was talking to our friend Richard Gunther, earlier today about 3D printing stuff, and I felt like we were in a support group of overbuying filament for a bit, like we're realizing we had a problem and thinking about how we can manage our problem. And what came out of that was, looking for a spool manager app, so we can know how many rolls of spool and, track our inventory of spools, and stuff
this
like
is
that.
too much. I don't think that's necessary.
Well,
can't you just look at them?
Not really, because when we started counting up the number of spools, like when they're not sitting in front of you, you don't know what colors you have and stuff like that. It's not just the, you don't have just one color, but you'll have like a silk spool, or you'll have like a silver, red, gold spool. You have like a rainbow spool, stuff like that, right? Like when they're not sitting in front of you, you don't realize what you have. And then you don't know what you're low on. So like my most used spool is probably black, and it would be PETG, for example. So I'd like to know when I'm out of that without having to go to my closet or look at it so I can reorder it and stuff like that. But yeah, we were just looking at, he created something and I was like, that it looks really nice. What he created, an online thing, but I wanted something more integrated with my setup. So on Docker, on my Unraid server, I installed something called Spoolman. And in there, you can go in and you create all your, you add your, your manufacturers, your spool types, you add your spools, and, that tracks the weight and everything like that. But even better is that it's integrated into my Octoprint, so that when you print something, it will actually calculate how much of that spool you used and update it in the app itself. So when your spool is low, how much you have left. I even used it before this show. I had like 30 grams left and I needed 26 grams to do the print. And bam, I was able to just finish that spool off. And I knew it wouldn't run out. So it's a cool thing called Spoolman. And I have all my spools in there, and it tracks it, and I know when to reorder certain colors and stuff like that. So, that's once you get into 3D printing, these are the things you got to worry about. You just open your closet one day and there's 30 spools sitting in front of you, and you don't know how it happened. You don't know when you ordered them. You don't know what they are. They're just sitting there. You don't know what you'll use them for.
And now you have an inventory problem.
Yeah. Well, now with this inventory app, I know what kind of problem I have. So I'm able to track my problem.
How does the spool man, or whatever you call it, filament man, how does it know which filament you're using? You just have to tell it?
in Octoprint, like in mine, it would have the 5 slots, and then I just assign what spool I have in each slot. So when I send a print to it, it knows how much it used from each of those spools, and then it updates back in the app what you used and decreases the leftover amount, right, automatically. So it's pretty slick how it works like that, right? So I can, the only thing is you gotta keep on top of it. So you got, when you change a spool, you gotta make sure you change it in Octoprint so that it knows what spools you're using and stuff like that. But when you have a 5 spool changer, the MMU3, I don't have to change them often because I load them with my most common stuff. So I only have to change them when I do specialty prints.
It'd be really cool, Gavin, if you integrated this with ADT, and then your neighbor could come over, unlock your door, and then start a print.
Wow. Why would he even
Swap out.
Why would he have to come over? You see, TJ, you're so behind. I'm sitting on my couch in my living room, and they have a color printer, and I needed to print up some stuff in color at like 2:00 in the morning. And I changed my Wi-Fi over to theirs, and I sent some stuff to their printer. And the next day, I
Picked it up in the morning.
Yeah, I was
Well,
like,
yeah, but what if he needs to use your printer though, Gavin?
well, he doesn't even know how to use his cell phone, so like,
All right, never mind.
He doesn't know how to secure his Wi-Fi.
This is the situation he's in, But the next morning, my printouts were in his garage. I saw him in the morning. He's like, by the way, these came out at 2:00 in the morning on my printer. I was like, I hope it didn't wake you up. And he grumbled something, it's like, I laughed, right?
Good enough.
Good enough for me. They came out, like, moral of the story, don't print something at 2:00 in the morning on your neighbor's printer.
Being hacked.
Oh, it's just Gavin again.
Yeah. Is that the printer? Oh, it's Gavin again. And I sent him a text message. You're low on black ink.
You need to refill it before my next print.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I did order some for him. So,
Oh, that's nice.
It was nice. I was nice about it. I did order some for him.
You have to install it yourself, though.
Yeah. Well, no, his wife knew how to do that. So I left her to that.
Oh, that's
Yeah. See, I'm a nice neighbor. So yeah, that's Spoolman. Helping me manage my addiction. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, manage.
Yeah. Like if you
seems like you've been managing it. Yeah.
Yeah. People have.
Hey, as a former printaholic, I understand. You just get filaments all the time. You have so many, you don't even know where they are.
Exactly. That's what it is. Like
I understand the struggle.
some people have.
And you buy that one because it's really shiny and you never use it again.
Yeah, you get that silk PLA and you're like, oh, it looks so great. And you do one print and then you're like, what else can I print with this?
Right. I don't need anything else than this shiny silver.
Yeah. But one day, somebody will say, can you print me this? I'll be like, I have the perfect filament for that.
Let me check my inventory app real quick.
Yeah. I'm looking for some skin colored filament now because I want to print little bobbleheads.
Okay. Sir, you have a problem if you have an inventory app for your printer.
Yeah, I know. But
You have a business.
my problem is organized. I know how much of a problem it is. And, when I have to order more to feed that problem.
That's nice. And your wife found out about the second printers. I mean, really, you're living the high life.
Yeah, the pressure's on to sell it now, but I'm going to save that for a future show. I hope people are getting a laugh out of this.
One day we're going to get on Zoom one day and the background that Gavin has behind him will be different. We'll be like, Gavin, where are you?
You look one printer short.
You look like you moved. There's one too many printers. Well, I'm not having any good luck finding dogs or dog robots that cost less than $20,000 on Alibaba. But I did find this, which supposedly costs less than $20,000, and it looks amazing. And this is the 2024 latest model IoT unmanned autopilot automatic excavator demolition robot with remote control.
Oh my God.
I mean, obviously you understand our finances better than Gavin and I do, but I don't think we make this much money, Seth.
No, we don't. But look at this thing. Look at this thing. It's amazing.
So there are Facebook groups dedicated to these and like the mini excavators.
Yeah?
And people will tell you which ones are like worth it and everything.
Oh man.
There must be a Reddit forum.
I know there's at least Facebook groups because they come up under my Facebook for some reason.
This is awesome though. And it's $5,000 plus $4,000 shipping.
Yeah, under 10,000. I can get this, or I can get a stupid robot dog. Which one would you get? Clearly, this is the answer.
Order it just to test their return policy.
Yeah, it's Alibaba. They don't have a return policy.
Oh.
Yeah, I know.
There was some YouTuber that bought like a sports electric car from AliExpress, and it did not arrive. Like a little toy golf cart thing arrived basically, and they're like, "Yep,
that's it. That's what you bought." Yeah, no, but this looks amazing.
Just put it on a company credit card, Seth.
It's a write-off.
It's a write-off, yeah.
If you order it now, you can get it for CDO.
Drive it around the showroom floor.
Drive it around the show floor.
Yeah. You obviously need this to advertise your lighting program.
This would be great for picking up the dog poop and parting your lawn.
Oh, yes.
Your dog is so tiny, Gavin. I don't think you need this.
I think I feed it too much because that thing, sometimes I don't know where. You ever look at your lawn and just go, that wasn't my dog. That must be someone else's dog that came in my backyard and dropped that one.
Yeah, no, this is amazing. We'll definitely put a link to this in the show notes because man, for under $10,000, you can get one of these things. And I would definitely say it's worth it. I mean, thing looks amazing. So
If you got this, you could just use it to dig up your lawn, and then you never have to get a robot lawnmower.
well, yeah, exactly. You wouldn't need anything. You wouldn't need, I mean,
you wouldn't need anything. This is just
this is
this
it.
is everything.
All you need.
Food, a loving family. You don't need them anymore. You got this.
I will take one, please. There we go. $10,000. Wow.
If he accidentally clicks buy,
No. Alibaba is a little different. You have to like talk to somebody to get stuff shipped, but
Yeah. That's why I've never bought anything. I don't want to talk to people.
it takes some time.
I want to make late night decisions that are not good. And that does not involve talking to people.
I recently ordered off AliExpress, and then I started getting emails like 3 times a day about, things that
$2
go along.
off coupon.
But you know what? I realized with AliExpress is like, man, every mistake only cost me $3.
Yeah, right?
Like it's like, oops, I accidentally ordered that, but it's only $3. And then like for the whole month of August, I'm going to be getting like a new package every day. It's like Christmas every day.
It's like Christmas in August.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I feel about all like the 2-year Zigbee stuff I bought on AliExpress. I'm like, it doesn't really work that well, but I paid like a nickel for it.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly.
Better than these brilliant keypads that are sitting in my waste bin.
What are you gonna do with those?
I didn't pay for those, but those are still like $400.
Well, I finally made my server move stuff this last week, and I had something happen, and I needed to take the server apart. And I'm like, you know what? While I'm doing this, I'm going to rip out this Tesla M60 card and put it in the proper server. Put it in the big machine. Put it in the Dell 730, whatever 740, whatever this thing is. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to do that. So I pulled it out. Oh, I don't know. I can't remember what happened. It was something to do with the video card conflict with this motherboard or whatever, because it's a consumer motherboard, and I think it kind of assumes that there's an output for video once you plug another video card in, right? So when you have the Tesla M60 in there, it's 2 video cards, and neither of them have an output on it. Like there's no video out. They're just virtual cards. So I think it just got too confused. And I took it out, and I had to reset the RAM or whatever. No, the BIOS, and fixed all that junk back up, rebooted. Docker stuff was a little angry. It's like, hey, where'd your NVIDIA card go? I don't know. But I switched everything over, basically Plex transcoding. Basically, I switched that over to using the built-in, what do they call it? iGPU, the Intel built-in GPU in the...
Yeah, GPU. Yeah, Intel GPU. Yep.
And it works just fine because it's a modern chip and like has some kind of thing that they threw on the modern chips. It's not a modern chip that, is breaking right now, because evidently all the 13th and 14th generation are bad. Like, whoops, we broke those. But this is the 12th generation. And it's got this like quick something in it, quick sync. I don't remember what it's like. It's got that built into it. And finally, after years and years, I guess it's all supported with the Linux kernel and in Unraid. So it does work. It worked right out of the box. And I was able to, just I could see like on the dashboard on Unraid that it was actually doing something and transcoding video within the chip, and it worked fine. So then I went to the big computer, and I'm like, all right, shut this thing down. Let's pull it out. Let's dust things off, do some basic maintenance. I've been sitting down there running, doing nothing for, I don't know, a year or so. And I plugged the card in. It took me a little while to figure out like where the power cord was supposed to get plugged into, because it wasn't evident. Like it wasn't on the motherboard. It was on the riser card, turns out. Got all that situated, turned it back on, and it just like, it's like, not going to happen. And I was like, what the heck? And I go and look at the what's it called? The lights out program that they have on the Dells. And it's like, yeah, you're fine. Just turn the thing on. That's all you got to do. So I'm like, turn on. And the little power supply lights are just blinking in the back like, yeah, something's wrong. And I'm like, what could this be? Well, it turns out after reading that the Dell requires you to have 1100 watt power supplies minimum for adding a GPU card in. So,
oh my gosh.
So
1100 watts.
Had to upgrade 2 power supplies to 1100 watts, and they should be here later this week. It's only $30, but yeah, it's $30 well spent, I think. Eventually I will have the system back up and going to do random. I've been running the LLM stuff on code generation stuff on it too. So it's been kind of fun. But now that's down, none of that's working, which no one misses but me. And I'll get it back up and going. But that was kind of my big project, was finally doing some unraid maintenance, I guess, that needed to be done for a while, 6 months or a year. I don't know. It's been a while. It's been on the project list, but I got it done. And all is well with the Plex. Although my Plex, and if anybody has an idea what this is, Plex does not work on iOS or my phone. When I look at my movie library, okay? So I look at my movie library, it says no content, nothing in there. If I go to the web page, all the content's there. All the movies are there. If I go on my iOS device or my Apple TV, right? And I go to Plex and I go to like categories for the movies and select like a category, drama, horror, whatever, the movies are in there. And you can play them. They're in the, up next, or you started watching. But for whatever reason, the library and the collections, no content, it's gone. And clearly it's not gone. Like it's there. But I don't know what it is. So if anybody has any idea how to fix it, I've done everything that I could find roughly related to this, including making sure it's updated and all that good stuff. But I, for the life of me, I can't figure out why I can't see my movies inside Plex anymore. They're just all gone. I think I'm going to have to just kill the library out, rebuild it from scratch, and hope, and rebuild all my collections back up. That's going to suck.
Yeah, I think you need a 1500 watt power supply.
Oh, yeah, probably need the 1500 watt. That's probably what it is. No, yeah. That's how they get you. It's always something with these nickel and dime me left and right. $30 here, $30 there. Soon enough, I'll have a closet full of power supplies, not know what to do with them. I have to get the Power Supply Man app here on my Docker.
I just checked on my server. Yeah, my server has two 1200 watt power supplies. So that's how I'm running two video cards off of it. So that's nice. Yeah. Had
no idea. Like, it's not, I guess people were complaining it's not written down anywhere in the Dell documentation that you have to do this. So it's kind of like hey, we got you, but not a big deal. Power supplies are cheap. At least these are.
What server is yours?
I think it's the R730.
Yeah, that's the same one I have. And I find when you start getting into these servers, like, things work, but are they supported? No, right? Like,
right.
I throw a couple video cards in, and they're non-supported video cards, and I got them working, but they do things like drive the fans crazy because the server can't tell the temperature of them anymore, or something like that, right? So you can get them working, but when you get into this server hardware type of things, you start to run into these type of issues,
I do like the hardware. I mean, it's extremely well built. Well built. Like, it's awesome to open it up. I show my daughter, I'm like, hey, this is what a computer is. And she's like, okay, can we go play?
Yeah. I love you can slide it out and you open up the case. And, and I got a powerful one. So it's like I have 24 cores with 48 hyperthread with 120 gigs of memory. I have like everything on this, and I love it. Right. It just takes a little bit more understanding.
Yep. Yeah, and I guess general knowledge about servers, but
yeah. At least it's Google. Like, a lot of people have these, so they run into the same problem. So you can Google the issues,
right? And I will say that, at least as far as I can tell, Dell is a little bit better about supporting this, not supporting this stuff, but like having more of an open forum for you to go and figure out like how to get it. The HP that I had was all kind of like locked down behind enterprise forums, and they, all the information they had when this thing was out was of course deleted and moved over to a new website for HPE. So now you have to go and go to hp.com where this thing existed when, you can't find all the drivers or anything or updates or anything there. So what a pain that was. But the 730 is fairly modern. Like you said, many people have them. They're very inexpensive to get. And I got,
and that's the sad part, is like, if you're building an Unraid server, like, look for something like this, because they're so powerful and they're so cheap, because a lot of companies are offloading them because they're not the latest ones, so you could pick them up used, fully loaded for a really good price, because companies just don't need them anymore.
Right. And we're talking lots of computers too, because everybody went to the cloud, so they got to get rid of these things.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's lots of them out there, and for a good price, you know, a few $100, you can get what was when it was shipped, probably $10,000 server.
Exactly.
Like, insane how much those things cost new. Because I was recently buying one from work, and my boss was like, "Hey, let's just get one from Dell.com. We'll just get a new one." And I'm like, I don't think you know what you're saying. Yeah. So let's take a look at the new price. And we looked at it and it was like, that's a new car. And then, and I was like, let's go look at the eBay price. And we bought it on eBay for like $600 and
yes,
done. Like it's way more than we ever need for the little development machine that we put in. So, and it's like a newer version, like 740. I don't know. It's like a rack mount. It's not a rack mount. It's a stand up and down one that the rack we had at the office wasn't deep enough for the server style, so.
You need a deep rack for these things, but my basement's like looking like a data center now, so I had the space for it.
Nice. All right, well, that's all I got. I think that's going to wrap up this week. If we do want to give a big thank you to everyone who supports the show, but especially those who are able to financially support the show through our Patreon page. If you don't know how to, if you don't know about the Patreon page, head on over to HomeTech.fm/support to learn how you can support HomeTech for as little as $1 a month. Any pledge gets you a big shout out here on the show, but any pledge over $5 gets you a big shout out here on the show. But every single pledge gets you an invite to our private Slack chat, The Hub, where you and other supporters of the show can gather every day and talk about, today we were talking about, you know, what if we had a hub that didn't have matter on it? And this idea came from Greg, and what we call it the Animatter Hub. And yeah, it would have like Z-Wave, which is dead, TM, that's trademark TJ. And then Bluetooth mesh, because it's always popular next year, and because they always say that. And then Wi-Fi with 5 gigahertz, because 2.4 is for losers. You know, you only want the 5 gigahertz only. And then Insteon, because, you know, they survived. Maybe they're still there.
Yeah, they're around.
Yeah, and then X10, you got to have that on there for legacy stuff. KNX for our boys in Europe. Hey,
yeah, there we go. Yep.
We mention them.
Hey.
You got to have Dolly in there, some DMX, you know, we have all that stuff in there.
Dante.
Yeah, Dante, why not? We'll put Dante in there. We're not doing audio, but we'll do it.
we'll pay for the licensing.
Yeah, why not? Yeah, it's just a chip. Who cares? And then AllJoin, we'll have that in there. I mean, anybody remember AllJoin? That was supposed to be like, whatever, you know, like FireWire was supposed to like revolutionize the smart home, but you know, whatever. And then, you know, we'll make it run Home Assistant too, just because like it's not going to actually run Home Assistant. That won't be the software. We'll just make it like off on the side. Yeah. Kind of like another hub that we know of.
But it just does the voice control. That's it.
Yeah. We'll just use it for voice control.
And then the request for IR. I threw in a request for RF.
And you said I had to have a mic, not for voice control, but for identifying birds, which I thought was genius. So
there you go. Yeah, you have to have that mic. Yep.
The mic will not work for voice control. You'll have to have a device for that. This is only for bird identification. There you go. So yeah.
Any Colorado VNet support though?
Oh yeah, I don't know if we can do that.
Probably can't do that one, my bad.
Yeah. Well, I think if we were to make an antimatter hub, that would be it. That would be the specs. Pretty good stuff there. Comes out at CES next year, right? 2025.
That's right. Greg, give us your money now. See it later. It'll be Matter compatible.
Right.
Just kidding.
It has everything but Matter. Yeah. Although I guess you could like use Home Assistant to backdoor Matter into the thing. So yeah, well there you go. We'll have to take Home Assistant out. What are you gonna do? All right. If you want to help out the show but can't support financially, totally understand. We just appreciate a 5-star review on iTunes or positive rating in the podcast app of your choice. That's going to wrap up another week here on HomeTech. Everybody have a great weekend, and we will see you next week.
Take care.
Till next time.
All the links and topics we discussed tonight can be found over in our show notes for HomeTech.fm/492. Who put that up there?
What are you laughing at? Where?
It's too good.
The title name.
God.